Welcome back to another episode of Enterprise Pro Tips video. My name is Arthur, and today we're going to be going through some tips on how to improve and troubleshoot your network slowness on your Android devices. Let's get to it. Disclaimer, we're not talking about setting a private DNS or even changing from a DHCP to a static IP, as that would help your browser feel like it's a little faster, but it's not going to help with your overall bandwidth, so your gaming, your streaming, or even your downloading will not be affected all too much, really. Starting with the quick fixes, what we can do is first go into the settings, go to your Wi-Fi, let's forget it, and reconnect. Another thing you can do is check your airplane mode. Make sure that thing is not turned on, or if you like just to toggle it, that's fine as well. Next up, you can try restarting your phone, see if that changes anything. And last but not least, just move closer to the router. Next up, let's look at the settings. Let's first look at the battery settings. We want to make sure that our power saving is turned off. Now, it depends on your phone whether or not your phone's already dying, but if your phone's got pretty good battery, you want to make sure this thing's turned off so that your network will be better. As you can see over here, it says background network usage, syncing, and location checking will be limited. So if I have it turned on, my network will be limited. Next thing we want to check for is your VPN or DNS. Now, you want to make sure that your VPN and your DNS is turned off if you want to test this to see whether or not it's going to make your network faster, as sometimes you could be connecting to a different location or a different server that is just slowing you down. Next, and this is only when you're trying to go nuclear and it's not recommended, is if you reset your network settings. So if you search up reset, over here you can reset your network settings, but it's highly not recommended. Only use this when you're really trying to, when it's your last resort, you just don't want to deal with your phone when your phone has something wrong with it. Sometimes, just by updating your phone, you can also fix the issue. There could be some bug that's already in your current version. So you just want to make sure that you have the latest drivers installed and just have your software updated. Maybe you've done all of this and your phone's internet is still really slow. So maybe, just maybe, there's an application that's running in the background that you don't know about that's just eating away all your network bandwidth. What you can do is you can go here, you can search for data usage, tap on data usage, and check to see what software is being used or what software is using the most bandwidth. Maybe there's a software that you do not know that's using a lot of bandwidth, and you could perhaps get rid of that to try to solve the problem. Now, what if you've done all of that and everything seems perfectly fine and normal? Well, maybe it's not your phone. Maybe it's something to do with the router side itself. What you can do on your phone to check, however, is by downloading something like a Wi-Fi analyzer. You can find any on the Play Store. Let's go ahead and open it up. And over here, it's going to do some scanning. And it'll tell me what Wi-Fi is over here, but we don't really want to see that. What we want to see is the congestion level over here. So as you can see right now, I'm on a channel that's pretty congested, and you can see the networks around me on how congested they are. So the congestion level of your channel will determine whether or not your network is going to be fast or slow. What you can do is you can always log into your router on your router IP. It will be labeled at the back of your router or on your router on a physical label, which you can then log in with the credentials on that physical label and change the channel that you are currently on to something that's less congested. Another thing worth mentioning is typically your router will have two kinds of channels. You would have a 2.4 and you'll have the 5 GHz. Try changing it between one of these two to see whether or not it improves your connection as well. Now let's say you did everything right, and yet your internet is still slow. What's going on here? Let's start with something simple, like maybe try going closer to your router. Maybe the signal strength is just not strong enough, or your signal is being blocked by something in the walls. So try going closer to the router and test to see if your signal strength gets better. Now if it did, or it does, you might want to consider getting a Wi-Fi extender or a repeater to increase the range of your router's signal. That way, wherever you're situated in your house or your apartment or business, your router could reach the corners that you want it to reach. Now, maybe if going closer to the router doesn't really change anything as well, you might want to try to reboot your router. And if it works, great. But if give it like a couple of days or hours and the router just started giving you some poor signal again and everything just starts slowing down, your router might just need to have a software update. Maybe the software is old and it just does not work as efficiently anymore, so just try giving it an update and maybe it would increase the performance. If that doesn't work, you could also try looking at where you place your router. Preferably placing it on a higher spot is considered a better way of positioning your router. So don't put it somewhere that is being blocked by thick steel barriers or anything that could be interfering with your signal strength. If that's not the case, you might be experiencing a hardware issue. So your router might be the one that's throttling you or slowing you down. If that's the case, you might want to try to get a replacement router. You can try contacting your ISP, also known as your internet service provider, to get a replacement router. Or if they allow it and if they support it, you could try getting your own router. Obviously you want to match the speed or have a router that's better to be able to match the speed capacity of your internet service provider's plan, so that you can get a better signal. If that does not work, maybe you might want to check with your plan, your internet service provider's plan. Perhaps you just went over the amount of available bandwidth that you have. What happens when you do that is typically your ISP would throttle your bandwidth or throttle your connection and make it significantly slower. And you can either choose to upgrade your plan in that case, or just wait to the next billing cycle when they give you a new refresh of the amount of bandwidth you can use. Now keep in mind, if you are to still use your internet even after you've already exceeded the limit and you've seen a significant slowness in your internet, you might be making your ISP bill you more, so you want to keep that in mind. And there you have it, some tips on how to improve and troubleshoot your network slowness on your Android devices. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.